Welcome, friends, to Rising Signs. Maddie, who's our guest today?
All the way from Cleveland, Ohio, we got a young one in the sign game. We got Jack Ruff. Roll it.
Good morning, friends. This is Rising Signs. I'm Joe. This guy is
Matthew.
And this is Rising Signs. Good morning, everybody. How you doing?
Jojo. It is Friday morning, and we are on episode number 7. Lucky number 7.
Lucky number 7. And, I don't know what it is, but I feel like episode 7, not particularly ours, but just anybody's episode 7 in general is a milestone. And it sticks out in my mind. So I have a high level of confidence that this is going to be a good one. And a lot of that's because of you. I mean, you fill the screen with personality, my friend.
Joe, on a Friday morning. Good morning, beautiful.
Wait, you might need to adjust your hat. You might need to adjust your hat. I think it's getting a little snug. I think your head blowing up a little bit.
It's getting a little too big. It's got to be the hair then, eh? Joe, you are unreal. I love starting my Friday mornings with you. I know our viewers love starting Friday mornings with both of us. So I'm excited, and we have quite the episode for lucky number 7.
Yeah, a real a great guest. We won't start the intro yet. Anything dynamic or interesting about your week so far?
Other than the fact that we're pretty much back in the flow. I know we have a camping trip coming up. I got a best friend of mine, Peter. He decided to tell all the boys, let's go on a camping trip. So we're planning something for June. So I guess that's a little exciting. Haven't been outside or done anything crazy in a while. So it'd be nice to go outside, get in the outdoors and do some camping. How about you, brother?
I love that. Well, I tell you, I've got a little bit of a story before we bring our guest in. When you say camping, are we talking tents or are we talking like glamping, like a camper you're towing with you and the whole, what do you Canadians consider camping these days?
Full camping. My buddies are really into the outdoors. It's going to be like 1 hour portage to get to where we got to go. And then we're doing the whole roughing it, camping it with the boys, social distancing. So we're keeping it to a small little crowd. I believe it's only 4 of us. We're going to go out for 2 nights and do our thing out in the wild. Yeah, Canadian camping, not Americanized camping. In Canada, we camp, Joe. We camp in Canada.
Yeah, I like that. I feel like camping at a campground with a towed-in camper is just an odd and expensive socializing experiment. But did you hear me cough just a second ago? Did you hear? You hear that?
Was that just to clear your throat cough?
No, it's not. So this is my story, right? So I had my first adventure out into the field Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday. No. It was Tuesday. It had to be Tuesday, right? Okay. So it was on Tuesday, and I went to help a customer tench the face, and it was a bear. Had to wear a mask the whole time. So it was about 7.5 hours of being in that mask, which is, I don't know if anybody, like for those of you out there that are like, essential workers that are out there every day, like people that are doing deliveries or people in hospitals that are wearing those things all day, like, holy cow, like, I don't know how you do it. So I wake up the next morning, feel a little bit of a scratch. Little bit of congestion going on. So I'm pretty sure it's just like allergies or sinuses.
That's it.
You can't help the nervousness in the back of your head, like, oh, I got a cough.
Get it out of there. Get it out of there. Have a glass of tea.
Extra vitamin C. I've eaten some oranges. I'm like, let me make sure my immune system's nice and pro. All right, well, that's enough nonsense of us, right? Let's bring in our amazing and wonderful dynamic guest, Matt. This is the part of the show where you build up some momentum. So I'm going to let you do your thing.
You know what it is. Yep, we are in episode 7. So we've pulled in a special guest today. This guy's an inspirational guy. So let's get right into it. Our next guest is 28 years old, and he is a shining star in our industry. He is a second-generation sign guy, born just outside of Cleveland, Ohio. He is married to his lovely wife, Alexis. He has 2 children and a third on the way. This guy knows a lot about the sign industry, from installs to paint to management. He has been in the sign industry ever since he was an infant. In fact, check this, Joe. His first baby toy was a piece of 1980 8-inch channel letter raceway from Sign. And his baby room was once painted with Matthews paint. This next guy loves sports and enjoys motocross. I want to welcome the Travis Pastrana of the sign industry, the general manager from Ruff Neon. Let's bring in Mr. Jack Ruff himself. Jack, welcome to episode 7.
Thanks, man. Thanks for that intro.
Welcome, brother.
Wow, that's one for the ages, Matt. You're gonna have a tough time beating that. Did you like the raceway part, Jack?
I love the raceway part, and I
wasn't 100% factual.
There's a lot of backstory with the raceway.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, really? You guys
Jack,
got history with raceways?
We're not.
And actually,
I'm
I'm actually 4th generation. My grandfather, my great-grandfather was in the business. My grandfather, then my dad, all my uncles were in the business at one point. So
no, wait, my apologies. Ooh,
that would be my fault. That would be my fault. When we were talking about you and your dad started the company. That's my bad.
Four years. That's even better, eh? Unreal, man. Unreal. Yep. So it really is in your bloodlines, eh?
Yeah.
My God. Well, so how is everything?
Good. Just trying to keep busy through these times that we're going through and working through them. It's really all you can do. But everything's good.
Beautiful. Well, thanks for taking the time to be on the show and share your story with us. So the quick bullet point I think we should dive into, because I think it's really impressive to me, and I think it's inspirational to any young people in the industry, would be the fact that you were managing a full custom electrical sign shop at the age of 16. Tell us a little bit about how that ended up happening, and maybe share some of the struggles that you experienced along the way. When I got into the industry in my early 20s, I had a tough time walking into sign shops and getting people to take me serious. I can't imagine working with installers, right? And trying to tell them to keep a schedule and hey, got to clock out for lunch, right? So share a little bit about how you got there and some of the dynamics of filling that role out and earning the respect of the people in the shop.
Yeah, I think so. It all started, with my mom and dad. Obviously, it all started when my dad started Ruff Neon. My dad has actually a really cool story of how he got to open up Ruff Neon. He started off at a company in Cleveland, Simon Signs. My grandfather ran it. He left there. He went to used cars, got back in the neon signs, and then that's when he opened up Ruff Neon. And my dad's always been one of those dudes. He's never shied away from a challenge. Even to this day, he'll never tell you no. Even if he doesn't know for sure, he'll always tell, "Oh yeah, we could do that," and then figure out along the ways. And so a lot of my success comes from watching my mom, my dad, and having that type of attitude. Well, there's really no such thing as can't. You just learn as you go. So starting off, it wasn't too bad. When I was 16, it was obviously really hard because I was really young. I had no experience whatsoever. Luckily for me, I had a gentleman by the name of Perry. Perry Thaxton is his name, but he helped along the way. He's still with me. We've been together. We've been working together side by side for over 12 years. He's been a huge gets a huge amount of success just from him. He gets a lot of that. A lot of it comes from him. I appreciate everything he's done. So You know, that's always helped too, talking to employees and stuff like that as well along the ways is kind of having him in the middle of it all. So it wasn't coming directly from me, because obviously being 16-year-old, you're going to be the 16, 17, 18-year-old punk. Even today, I still kind of deal with it a lot. So
sure.
That's
crazy. So go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
No. I started it. Yeah, I'll let you go. I don't want to cut in line. Come on.
I was basically just gonna ask. So I know, Jack, you did a little bit of installation to start. Is that what you started with? And what was that about?
Yeah, so installs and that, even to this day, if we're a little bit short man, I'll go on installs. But when I was like 15, like 14, 15, I was on the truck. You know, even when I was a little kid, I was on the truck with my old man. You know, there's stories of me in diapers working on a truck, you know, having me ride around the truck with them just because they couldn't find a sitter or whatever it may be. You know, nothing really stopped them. And so I got a lot of experience, and it was really helpful for me. I started off on a truck. I was on a truck for really, even when I did take over manufacturing, I was still on a truck a little bit until I was probably 17, 18. Okay. And I think there's a huge benefit from starting off, you know, whether you're an outside guy and you start off in the shop or vice versa, you know, having that dynamic of understanding both sides of the business is a huge benefit for us, you know, because installation is a whole different animal, whole different type of guys, you know, everything's just different about installs versus fabrication. And, you know, the install end of it, my oldest brother, he runs all that stuff. So, you know, for me coming into it, I was kind of trying to figure out where my calling is for the business, you know, where I could stand out the most. And manufacturing was the only area we didn't have family members in. And so I kind of took it and ran with it, and it kind of exploded over the years.
I love it, man. The one of the things that I think is really impressive about what, you know, when I first met you a few years ago and at that paint training, I never met somebody that was as well versed as you. So there's a lot of people that grow up in the sign business, right? And generally they gravitate towards one part of the business. They go to sales, or they'll go to like design or something like that. But you've had your hands in all of that. Like, you were at a paint training class, and yet you're coming up with new ways to build things faster and for less expensive. So not just one category in the shop. I imagine that was like a concerted effort, right? So when you look at the grand scheme of things, when it comes to sign manufacturing, when it comes to install, when it comes to service, like, you've seen all the nuts and bolts. Where do you think, as a young person in the industry, there's room for improvement? Not necessarily maybe at your facility, but overall in the industry. Where do you think we could work on to make things better as a group?
I mean, in the industry in general, I mean, I think you're always going to have a struggle with the installation crews. You know, I'm sure you guys visit a lot of shops, and there's a lot of people that aren't wanting to be on a truck anymore. There's a lot of guys that are getting away from that, and it's extremely hard for any sign company just to find guys to come in and do this stuff. You know, it's, you know, running the cranes and all that stuff. It's a huge responsibility, and trying to find guys that are qualified to and guys that are willing to work, because it is hard work, is becoming more. It's coming harder and harder every day. I mean, you can't pay guys enough to stay on a truck. You really can't. And I think in this industry, that's the biggest struggle. You're always going to have the welders. You're always going to have the guys that can put the LEDs in and all that stuff. That's always going to be there. Channel letters. You have channel letter benders. You got routers. You have stuff that could replace that labor if you can't find it or whatever it may be. You could just buy a machine, so to speak. You still got to have somebody run it. Whereas in the outside installs, you're pretty much stuck with having the right guys for the right job, and it's coming harder and harder for everybody in this industry to find those guys.
For sure.
Go for it, Matt. I don't want to steal your thunder again.
What I was going to lead into when you said that was what Joe was interluding to it, and I think I was thinking the same thing, is as an industry, moving forward, if installation is something that we all know is something that's lacking, training, schooling, what can we do as an industry to highlight that aspect of the business that we all, because I know we're a small shop located in Concord, Ontario, and we find the exact same issues.
Yeah.
You could find installers, but usually when they do, they're experienced veterans, and you're not necessarily pulling in a lot of new blood. You're pulling in older guys that maybe moved areas and now they're looking for another sign shop to do installing, but we're very rare finding new blood. And I came from an installation background myself. So like you, I started young. So it was one of those things that we just fell into it, but there was no training for it. So where do you see it going in that aspect?
Yeah, I mean, I would say if they could start getting awareness out there in like trade schools and stuff like that, you know, getting the word out there to get our industry out there, especially trade schools would be a huge benefit because you can make quite a bit of money in the sign business. You know, if you're a good installer, you can make some a decent amount of living. You know, and trade schools I think are the only way that you could ever get the awareness out there for young kids. You know, there's nothing else. I don't really know anything else that you could really do. You know, it's.
Would you say that you're passionate about getting that message out there and bringing some attention to the lack of install resources there are in the industry?
I wouldn't say it's on. I'll be quite honest with you. The installation end of the business, since I run the manufacturing and stuff like that end of it. The installation end of it, I truly can't say I have a passion for. My passion's in manufacturing. That's what I love. I love building stuff. I like making stuff and creating and things of that nature. But I couldn't say I'm passionate about it, and I couldn't say that I'd go crazy and try to find whatever I can to make it happen because it's the installation end of the thing. It's one of those ends of the businesses that I enjoy it, but I'm not passionate about it. And if something was that, you know, I'd love to be able to get involved if the opportunity came to, you know, help create something to get the awareness. But I don't think it's something I'd go like above and beyond to make happen. If that's
Well, no, I was trying to lead you into a trap that you didn't fall into, unfortunately. So, what I was going to say is if you said, yeah, I'm passionate about not necessarily install, but bringing more resources to the install realm, I was going to say somebody like yourself at the right young age of 28 would be a perfect candidate for the ISA Elite.
Oh, sorry. I tanked that one for you.
To influence the industry. You and I have chatted a little bit about this. I think you would be.
Hold on.
Oh, you're back. There you go.
You're back.
No, we got you.
We're good.
Hold on. I lost you guys.
We edit.
Error.
We can edit it.
Error 404.
It was mind blowing. You as soon as you said ISA Elite, bam.
He's coming back in.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. Well, edit it. Just gives Brian more work.
Sorry, man. I apologize.
It'll be a longer
No
night.
worries,
After a long night.
No, don't worry, man. Don't worry. Get back into it.
All right. So I think you're an ideal and perfect candidate for the ISA Elite program. Yep. I think your experience, your influence is incredible simply because of all the diversity in your portfolio of being able to achieve just about every end of the business. I think it would be not only valuable for the people in the program, but I think it would be great for you. I think you would really appreciate the investment you would be able to make into other people. Not to mention that it's great networking as far as working with, you know, national sign companies that need stuff installed here and there.
Yeah.
And, you know, I know a lot of times those relationships can be less than personal. So when you can have a relationship with a young person at a nationwide sign company, you know, you're more likely to get that mercy and that grace and just like that human touch than like, hey, here's the price to install it, deal with it, or bye, see ya, right? Like that's a lot of what it is sometimes. And when things go wrong, there's like, sorry, this is the contract. You said you'd put it up for X. Like a lot of times those relationships can be tense, but when you can build those relationships with those young people and meet them. So Matt and I would like to petition you to apply to be an ISA.
Definitely should.
What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, what's all involved with that? Like, what all is involved with the elite program? I mean, is it just basically meeting up at the ISA and that's it?
You can't tell them too much. You can't tell them too much.
Is it like a secret society?
No, it's more than that. It's kind of a secret society. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it's kind of a secret society. I didn't want to say that, but yeah, it kind of is a secret society. You get a tattoo. They do a whole thing. Microchip. It's crazy.
Well,
no, it's a really good. It's a leadership program. It's a team building program. It's the mentoring program. It's a networking program. It embodies a lot of things. I know that you already have at 28 years old. It's only going to further develop you and round out any of those rough edges as you move forward in the industry. I like Joe. I think you'd be a great candidate, and I think it would take you to that next level.
Yeah, I think it sounds like it's pretty sweet. I mean, it's always good to network, regardless of what your network, what the group is. Networking in general is an awesome thing to do.
Totally.
So with that being said, I think it would be sweet. And then people likewise, being around people likewise in the same industry. So, yeah.
So, Jack, what you should do in your application is attach this as a testimonial when you do apply. Just put a link to this video, and it's got to be a surefire win to get you in.
All right.
Hey, Joe, you do realize that we have a lot of people that are going to be applying, mentioning us because of Rising Signs. You do realize that, eh? Hey, Jack, let me get back on topic. 28 years old, you find yourself in management. I was wondering if you could give me an example, an experience that you've had so far serving that role in the manufacturing. I don't want to say asserting yourself, but being somebody who's so youthful into the industry, something that you've changed in the dynamic of the company. Can you think of anything?
There's a lot of stuff. I mean, I guess processes. We developed a lot of different processes. I've machines. Bringing in machines that are saving us a ton of money doing different bending or making different things. Right, Joe? Raceways. And there's a lot of other stuff that I think with the programming end of things and that I bring to the table. I mean, I think it's hard for me to say one thing because it's a really big team effort here. I got my brother, I got my dad here, my sister, and that. So I really couldn't take credit for any one thing. I think it's a big team effort, and I think that's where I am with that. If that makes sense.
Really like that. Yeah, for sure, dude. Yeah.
I don't think you give yourself enough credit, Jack. So I'll see if I can chime in here a little bit and give you some credit. So something that is kind of a blockade in our industry is there's a lot of the attitude that this is the way we've always done it.
Yeah.
You see a lot of that, especially in generational family-owned businesses. So just from, all of our interaction, visiting your shop multiple times, your openness to hearing about new things, to trying things out, to thinking critically and being creative, like you kind of segued as a part of what you learned from your father is that you just never said no. Some of the projects you've shared with me are stuff that a lot of people are like, nah, you can't do it.
Yeah.
And somehow you figure it out. But the other thing is technology. Like you talked about bending, machinery, and all those things. Like that's something that is thinking creatively. One of the things that you have is something that's completely from outside the industry that changes the game, which is mind-blowing, right? A typical generational family member in a sign business doesn't think that way. So I think you're very different. I think you're very good. I'll just say the word. I think you're a prodigy of sorts in what you do because it's really easy to get stuck in your ways in the sign industry. We don't have a lot of incoming education and new things and fresh eyes. It's a lot of the same people trading chops, right? And the same old guy that's been in channel letters for 200 years teaches the next kid, and like, and he teaches them like it's the gospel. It's like, this is the way you do it. Don't change it. This is the only way.
Yeah, no.
And people buy into it. So I think you're selling yourself short. I think
he's soft-spoken, Joe. He's a soft-spoken guy.
Well, with that being said, I am not one to get caught up in a thing, in my ways to where you can't ever change what I'm doing. I mean, shoot, I met Joe for probably 30 minutes, and me and him were already arguing over LEDs and whatever else, and he was changing my mind on how I was doing stuff there. So I'm really open book to if someone puts it in front of me and says, hey, this is a lot better way of doing it, then we're switching things up right away. I'm not stuck in any old ways or anything like that. We're definitely an open book type of shop, and that's one way. One thing, especially, I pride ourselves on here is that no idea is a dumb idea. We listen to everybody. We try to create things and atmospheres that make things easier and doing jobs easier, whether it's changing processes or bringing in new materials.
Jack, that perfectly kind of coincides with a public service announcement we made a few episodes back, where I showed a comic graphic of a salesman trying to sell this round wheel and these workers with a wheelbarrow and square wheels. And the workers with the square wheels said, we're too busy to meet with you right now. Right. So that's kind of the perfect mentality that will help our industry grow. Your thought process of being open, because a lot of it is closed-minded, and people are convinced that, hey, I'm too busy. I know how to build signs. You're not going to change anything, But you look at fabrication wise, how much shallower things have gotten even in the past 5 years, and the lighting that coincides with that and the efficiency of that lighting, like that has come leaps and bounds in 5 years. So I think that is not only will you benefit from the elite program we were talking about, but I think you would be a benefit in influencing and helping our industry overall to grow and to become more open. I think a lot of it is closed-minded, and that's probably our biggest blockade. Is we got to open up the perspective and get people to think creatively and be willing to listen to others to grow things and do them better and more efficiently.
So, Joe, with that being said, then Jack, I'm going to ask you a really simple question. 28 years old, super successful. You find yourself in the sign industry. Let's just say we had a classroom full of high school students, college students in the room, and they wanted to know, why should they get into the sign industry?
Putting me on a spot.
But you know why? Because you're in that position, and that's what Joe's alluding to. And I know you're soft-spoken, but these are things that the industry needs, and they're going to be depending on people like you at your age to bring us into the next generation of sign makers. So,
well, I would say
hit us sales pitch.
I would say the first thing is my favorite part of this industry is that every day is different. You never really come in, even though the nuts and the bolts, all the stuff's the same, but no job is ever the same. There's always different challenges. You're always being challenged every day. And this is one industry that you really get into all the industries. There's not too many industries where it's overlapping in with all sorts of different, not only contractors, but then business owners and stuff like that. One day you're pouring concrete, the next day you're meeting with, the CEOs or executives at a big hospital or whatever it may be. So it's very interesting, the people you get to meet, the interactions you get, and it's really never a dull day. It's constant moving, constant change, and I think that's what I appreciate more about it. I hate sitting doing the same thing, and so for me, I love the aspect that I could learn new stuff all the time. And that's one of the biggest things. Even going like Matthew's paint classes and stuff like that. You go to something like that and you're like, this is kind of going to be dumb. It's a class, but there's a lot of stuff you learn from silly stuff like that, or just meeting up with vendors or reps like Joe and that. And you think this is just going to be a big waste of time. Well, then it ends up being a huge benefit for everybody in the process. I mean, Joe especially with it. I just meeting up with Joe and all the people I've met along the lines. It's been a lot of fun. It has been, and the constant change is always keeps you on your toes. And I'd say that's the biggest thing, and it makes it easy to be passionate about it. as long as you're willing to change and willing to learn, it's one of the coolest industries I think you could probably get in.
I like that. I like that. That came from the heart, man. Hell yeah.
That's a great answer, and I think I'd like to put a little translation on that to say that we live in a social media world. Like, everybody wants to have this shifting dynamic that distracts them all the time. And what's great about the sign industry is it's fabrication, it's art, it's networking, it's sales, and it's, if it's the same sign over and over again, it's only until the program's done, and then it's the next project, and it's a different shape, a different face material, it's different lighting. So it's really filling and fulfilling when it comes to a workload. It's a great thing. So I think that's a great answer.
Yeah.
The next question I want to ask is, if you were to give, and this is another one that might put you on the spot, so brace yourself. If you were to give one piece of advice to other young people that are either, one, doing what you're doing, or two, trying to do what you do at such a young age, what would your piece of advice be for them?
Probably just not give up. I think the easiest thing to do is throw in the towel. I think especially with young kids my age, this Facebook media and all this crazy media stuff we have today, everything is such an instant result. I think kids nowadays are losing the patience to actually build on to build on their own platform or whatever. Everybody wants to walk into this job and make 100,000 or whatever it may be. That's why college and all that stuff is so crazy. I'd say the biggest thing is just patience and not giving up. Don't throw the towel in too quick.
God, I love that answer.
Wise. This guy's a wise man. He's a wise man. Wise man. Joe, what are we looking like, brother?
Man, I think we're ready to wrap it up. Jack, do you have any remarks? Anything you want to? Oh, we should give a shameless plug here, real quick. So
shameless plug time
of Ruff Neon. So if you're out there watching and you're a nationwide sign company, or you need install or service in the greater Cleveland area, feel free to reach out to Jack and Ruff Neon. He can help you out.
Sell us. Give us the 1 minute pitch. What you do? Sell us on it.
I appreciate
go
it.
ahead.
Yeah. So with our company, one of the biggest things for us that separates us from everybody is that we actually do every aspect of the business. So as far as installation goes, we're going down to all the way up to a 40-ton crane truck. So there's not a whole lot of jobs you can't do. And then manufacturing capabilities, it's all there, ADA, vinyl. There's not really any aspect of this business we can't touch or cover. And, we got all the latest and greatest equipment for the most part. So there's really not much we can't take on. That's it.
Speaking of social media, are you guys on Instagram, Facebook? I know we put your website.
We are. Yeah, we are on Instagram. It's Ruff Neon Sign is our Instagram, and same with our Facebook. It needs updated a little bit, but it's there. We're posting stuff every now and then. So
in due time. Unreal, unbelievable, Jack. It's been an absolute pleasure. You need to give yourself a little bit more credit for the position you're in. It's inspiring, and I think you just wowed both Joe and I. So I know it's a Friday morning. Go out there, hustle, do your thing, and thank you for being a guest on Rising Signs. It's been unbelievable, man.
All right, guys, appreciate it. Matt, I'll have to come.
Thank you, Jack.
Meet up with you sometime.
Yeah, give me a call. Whatever you need.
Will do. See you guys.
Appreciate it, Jack. Thanks.
Bye.
Joe, lucky number 7, eh? I don't know how the kid does it, eh? He's very soft-spoken. He's very humble of the position he finds himself in. 28 years old. I mean, the guy's got 2 kids and a third on the way, so he's doing the family, he's doing the business. Wow. I mean, yeah, good for him. Good for him.
He's a dynamo, man. And not to mention that, he was a legit motocross racer, which we didn't dive into much. He's got a lot to offer. And I really hope that I don't know when the next elite class is going to exist, but I'm really hopeful that he's going to get involved. I think the entire network will benefit, and he will as well. So I'm pretty amped up, man. But I think we're ready to roll. How about you?
I love it. I love it. Another guest, another inspiring young professional in this industry, leaving us on a Friday with nothing but positive vibes. Jojo, this is what it's all about, brother. This is why we do this. This is why we do this.
All right, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Give us a like, share us. If you don't like something, you can complain about it and we'll change it because we're pretty flexible. But that's it for episode 7. And as always, for Rising Signs, I'm Joe, and this guy is
Matthew.
Thank you for joining us for Rising Signs. Have a great morning, everybody.
Let's go, baby. Rising Signs.